What's going on, y'all? This is Joe Marino with Max Protection Moving. We got Joseph Garcia here,
Joseph Garcia, owner operator.
and we got T Crawl, District Manager here. We're just kind of giving you guys some updates today, new policies, new procedures on how we're going to be moving forward to make your guys' lives easier, better, and hopefully make everything more efficient and get jobs done at the highest level. So I'm going to hop right into it, fellas. Bear with me as I get the screen pulled up here. Perfect, perfect. Presentation is up. We're going to go back to the beginning. I apologize for the technical difficulty. First and foremost, welcome to Max Protection Moving. This is going to be slightly informal, but we want to make sure to just get you guys in a rhythm of understanding how the changes are going to go. Some minor changes, a little more major changes, but we just want to operate at a high level at all times. So first and foremost, we did, for lack of better terms, make a baby with our slogans. So Max Protection Moving is now we make moving look easy. We care more. We pretty much just combined them both because I think they do encompass both of our companies extremely well. So first of all, Max Protection Moving was established in 2021. We had a dream to be the best moving company in Southern California. Um, to move on from that, we will be with you every step of the way. We want to have transparency with you fellas. We want to have clear communication with you guys. And what that means for you guys is please come to us with any issues, work related, personal issues. We want to work with you guys and find solutions to every problem that might come up and be a great resource for you guys. And that's everybody here in this room. Thank you as well. Thank you guys for, being patient with us in this transition. We know it's been a lot of ups and downs and figuring out how to make this work as we transition. So thank you for helping us push the mission forward, which now is a combined mission of being the number one moving company in Southern California, which I truly believe we are the number one moving company in Southern California, and we're here to show it now through our work. Our mission statement, I just want everybody to know our mission statement, which is provide our employees with an optimal and safe workplace with a competitive pay structure, leading to a standard of providing our clients a phenomenal moving experience like they have never experienced before. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, and that's what we're rolling, boys. We're gonna kill it.
Right. When all else fails, remember this acronym. This acronym is going to be utilized while we're on the job. Foremen, crewmen, even us to just hold each other to the high standard that we want um, for our team, for the management, for everybody. So we can start with M first. Make sure we always communicate. This applies to all levels, right? We can really communicate to the highest level. There's no such thing as over communication in our book. So just anything that you want to communicate, personal operations, we're open book. We're here for any communication necessary. Safety. Yep, safety, etc. So A, ask questions every time you are unsure. Don't assume. This is definitely on the job, but especially with new crewmen, don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't, yeah, you might have gone through the crew checklist, the foreman checklist, but there's always, time. We always take any questions as needed. Extra hard is never our goal. Use your team and equipment. It's pretty self-explanatory. Don't try to lift heavy items by yourself. If it's a two-man item, we'd rather you not break your back. Use your team, use your equipment, use your dollies, heavy man straps, etc., etc. Protect each item like it's your own. Max Protection Moving is in our name. We need to make sure that we're taking care of our clients' items as if you were moving your own items. Rooted in respect for our clients and team. We expect you to treat our clients with the utmost respect, but also treat each other with the utmost respect. Um, Pretty simple right there. It will create a better work environment when we're on the job. So rooted in respect is definitely one of my favorites. Oh, offer to help whenever we can. Don't stare at the birds. This is a standard that we're going to hold all of you to, and likewise hold us to, please, is offer help when you can. Don't be staring at the birds. You got to stay on task, stay moving, stay efficient.
From there, this is probably going to be the most important for you fellas. This is just like a pay structure update. So there are some updates coming in, all dependent on crew performance. Number one, all crew members under $20 an hour will be brought up to under $20 an hour will be brought up to $20 an hour. That will be effective April 1st, pending consistent clock in and clock out protocol. What does that mean? We are all on Homebase now. If you don't have the Homebase app, please reach out to management ASAP. That means we will sit down with you, we will get on a Zoom, we will be in person, get you set up on Homebase, and show you how to clock in, how to clock a lunch, and how to clock out. What that means, this area right here, the 3 and less mistakes, if you are able to achieve less than 3 mistakes in the next, it's about 27 days, and have no customer complaints associated with your service, you will receive that upgrade to $20 an hour if you are under. Crew members above $20 an hour will be increased by 25 cents an hour under the same standard. This will be an initial raise. This is not a guaranteed raise moving forward. This is an initial. We want to get you to the standard we want to operate at. We want to get you clocking in and clocking out consistently. With that being said, the foreman will be offered the same incentive under the same consistent clocking in and clocking out. However, they do have a more strenuous task, which is consistently using the Smart Moving app protocol. That means hitting every single start, every single completion of job, and this one's not an easy one. So to be able to achieve this, you have to be locked in every single day. In accordance with that, you do have to meet required performance, which results in no client complaints. So essentially, you can get this, but it is going to be difficult. I don't want to pretend that it's going to be something that's simple to hit your Smart Moving every single day, but we're going to put you in a position that if you excel, yes, you will be paid on it. And the downside of that is if we don't excel, if we have client complaints and you're not hitting your Smart Moving app protocol on a daily basis, we're going to have to go back to more baseline checklists without the incentive of additional pay. Once again, this is a one-time raising system where if you hit our goal and you hit our standards, you will receive a higher pay. But after that, there's no guarantees. To build off of that, we do have a referral system now for all staff. First and foremost, to lay the groundwork for this referral system, any referral to be considered towards our point system has to be a job of $500 plus a value. Long distance moves will count as 2 booking points. For these specific situations, if you are referring somebody, please report to ownership or management immediately when sending a referral. We're going to go ahead and keep a tally. We'll make sure to print it out in the office of how many points you are at. I won't run in detail through each of these sections, but as you can see, if you do 10 jobs referred and booked through Max Protection Moving, you will receive a 25-cent raise. That's after 10. Along with that, for each job, you'll be receiving a 3% commission on that local service and a 2% commission on long distance services. That is our thank you for bringing business in the door we wouldn't have had prior. And it goes up from there. If you make your way to 15 total, your commission goes up for both local and long distance, and you get an additional raise. Is it easy? It's not easy to bring 15 jobs in the door, but now there's a space for you to do it. And you can always come to ownership and management and get best tips, best practices, business cards, whatever you might need to go out and get business on your own. We will assist you in doing that. And last, there is a tier for 20 jobs where your commission will jump significantly and you will have access to a 50-cent raise. Once again, it will not be simple, it will not be easy, but with effort put forward, it is achievable. Now, there is some adjustments to the review system. Now, this review system will apply to all staff, but there are a couple eligibility requirements. The first being reviews must contain names for eligibility. They will be tallied for each pay period. So if you get 3 reviews, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they'll be tallied by the end of that week and paid out in the following paycheck. The caveat here is please send screenshot of this review directly to ownership and management. We're putting it in your ballpark to make sure that you take a screenshot of that review that you just got, go on Google, go on Yelp, take a screenshot, send it to ownership or management so we can go ahead and tally that for you. We will not be taking responsibility to dig through reviews and tally this for you. Crew members, for every review mentioned overall, whether it's Google or Yelp, you will only get paid on one of those. It will be a $10 review bonus. Foreman, you do have the option to have a per platform review bonus. So that's $15 per review per platform. That is a total of potential of $30 if you get a review on Yelp and a review on Google. If there is any questions regarding pay structure, please reach out to any 3 of us. We'll be able to answer questions as soon as possible. I do want to touch on how to utilize the Smart Moving Crew app. This might be the more drug out part of our meeting here, but we do want to review how to use the Smart Moving Crew app. which is frankly not rocket science. But the main goals here is to gain a general understanding of one, how the app gives you needed information to be prepared for your move, which dispatch and management will ensure to get you what you guys need to be ready. Two, how the app should be used to track service of time for the move. Foreman, you will be judged on your ability to do this. If you cannot complete the correct timing on smart moving, you will not be able to be considered high performance. Three, how to correctly input damages and or hardware notes. Another way you're going to be judged on performance is using the protocols in smart moving. If, for example, there is a move where there is a damage, and you say, hey, Joe, hey, Tevin, you know what? It was already damaged. And we look in smart moving and there's no photo and there's no note. Well, frankly, that is not performing to our standard. You're not going to become eligible for any type of promotion. So there is going to be a strict standard, but there is also a way to perform at a high level and gain access to more pay. How to stop charges for lunch. You need to know how to stop charges for lunch, how to get signatures on the app, how to correctly fill out the bill of lading, and how to close out a client invoice using the application. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video for you guys to see here. What's up, crew? Joe with Mark Protection Moving here, giving you guys another tutorial on the Smart Moving Crew app. If you see on your home screen, you will see the arrival time for the service. That is an important one, making sure we get to the office on time. Before we jump into the job specific, let's hit the upcoming jobs button at the top right. This will show us our upcoming schedule for the week. We'll be able to see what times we're arriving at the office and what time future services start. This gives us a good idea of the week ahead and is a very useful tool. If we go back to the service for today, we can see some information already, but if we open it up, we'll be able to gather more information. If we hit the See More button, we'll be able to see more of the charge-related information. There is a tab for additional services. Let's say they need a junk removal or something of that sort. There's an area for materials where you can add different materials for sale. And then there's also a bulky items area, which will allow you to add a piano. If the client says, hey, look, I actually have a piano I need you to move, we can add that in there. This next area will show you what size and the addresses you'll be moving, whether there's stairs or not. And at the very bottom will be specific requests made by clients. As you can see here, at the very bottom, it says promises, new carpets, wearing boot protection. And you can go look up from there, there's different requests. Now to start the move, we hit the en route button and we always make sure to put an accurate time estimate for when we will arrive. In this situation, let's pretend it's 10 minutes. We send our SMS notification, take our drive to the job. Now that we've arrived, we can hit the arrived button. This arrived button will send a notification to the client that we have arrived. And this is always a great time to let your crew know that it's time to clock in for the job. When doing your walkthrough, we want to make sure to watch out for damages, and we're going to notate those in the feedback notes. Every crew member has this option in their smart moving to be able to go in this example, pretend there's a damage to a desk in the living room, we would put damage to desk in the living room. After that, we would go to our photos section at the top right in the job. And there we can go ahead and add a photo of said damage where we can notate that is a pre-move photo. Take a photo of our desk there that is clearly damaged. And now if the client calls management and says, hey, look, this was damaged by your movers, we have clear-cut proof as well as a note that it was not your fault. We were happy to go through that. Now let's go ahead and start the job. When we do start the job, it's going to confirm we're ready to start, and then it's going to prompt us to open our contract. There are some signatures we should, for best practice, get before we start the service. In total, there will be 3 combined initials and signatures that are needed to proceed forward. The first initial, the client is acknowledging they've received the important information handbook, which they have. Management always makes sure it is sent over to the clients. You'll hit the yes check mark on both as those confirm that we have sent an estimate for moving services, which you wouldn't be there if we didn't, rather a signature. And the last field we'll be filling out is a signature acknowledging coverage for their items. If you scroll down, you'll see the next field is going to be on the left-hand side. Get that signature, and after you get that signature, you are all set to exit out of Smart Moving. contract portion, and hit start again. The job has now started. Right away, you can generally hit the button again at the bottom, at the very bottom, which would be start loading. You'll see that momentarily. Now remember, these features are very useful for time tracking, and they help us check your hours if you forget to clock into Homebase. So we want to make sure we're using these features throughout the job. So we can hit the start loading button. And after we're done loading, we can hit the finish loading button, as you'll see here momentarily. Now, let's say after you finish loading, it's time to snag a lunch. We can use that button at the bottom left where it says 0 hours and 1 minute to stop charges for the client. We always let the client know, hey, Mr. Client, we're going to be stopping charges right now because we're going to go take a lunch. When we come back, we'll start charges again by pressing the clock in button. At that point, we've made it to the unload, and we can hit the start unloading button. And if anyone's arriving for the unload, now is when we would let them know when to clock in on Homebase. Once they've completed their job, once we've completed our job, we can hit the complete job button and hit next. It will prompt us to make sure our deductions are correct, and we'll be able to see the total billed time. As you can see, you can always add a deduction. We love to make sure we do this real time, but maybe we missed stopping charges on our 30-minute lunch. We can go ahead and make sure to adjust that before we charge our client. We're able to review services, review materials, and review bulky items one more time before finalizing the invoice. From there, we will be able to show the client the charges for their service. And then that would be a good time before issuing the charges to ask them if there's anything you could have done better for the service. When they go ahead and answer no, you did a phenomenal job, you can go ahead and skip this discount section, but do know you can always add a discount with approval from management. Once you do that, you'll have one last signature at the bottom for the client to acknowledge that everything has been delivered to them. We are not keeping any of their items. Do note that the first signature I took is the carrier signature, so that would be the foreman filling that out. From there, we have the option to take a payment. When you press take a payment, there will be a tip option, hence me saying, asking the critical question. But in this situation, let's pretend there's no tip. And now we can add new payment. When we press add new payment, there will be a list of options as well as taking a credit card if need be. If we do choose to take a credit card, a very important reminder is to ensure that the client's name is on that credit card. We should not be taking a credit card from anyone besides the client, and their name must be on said card in order to enter it into Smart Moving. Once we go ahead and taken a payment or not, we can always go back, finalize the job, and we can always complete job and carry balance if we've been told by management that they will be taking care of the payment on their end. That does complete our intro into Smart Moving. Thank you. All right, fellas, just a little video. I apologize for my hiccups along the way. Was trying to hit every point and keep it on a consistent schedule, but I hope that gives you guys a general idea that you can go back to if you have any questions. Another reminder, foreman, that's going to be up to you guys to go through that thing and get comfortable using Smart Moving in the different aspects. And it'll be up to us in management to make sure we're adding the correct materials, the correct charges that are available to be charged. If you need to make adjustments on the fly, we'll be able to be there with you on the phone if you need to call us and make any adjustments along the way. What's up, crew? Joe, Max Protection Move. Sorry about that.
All right, let's jump into communication. So this is really going to be communication on the job, what we expect to hear from you guys, the foreman, the crewman, and if we're on the job as well. So with the clients, we like to introduce ourselves before the job by name. This is going to help them really to remember the crew. If they're in the kitchen, for instance, and I'm packing the kitchen, hey, Joseph, and as far as you guys on the lead side and the review side, to get paid at the end of the job. Make sure that they know your name, so when they do fill out the review, they're able to shout out your name. With each other, call out hazards loudly and openly. There's no over communications. We kind of touched on this as far as our C in what's it called, in our acronym in the beginning. So watch your step, watch your height, need a break, corner. We like to start saying corner, coming up the stairs, coming down the stairs. And then this is also a very important one, countdown lifting. So no one should be lifting if it is a 2-man or 2-piece lift or 2-person lift. On you, on me. Identify who's going to be saying the 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1. And as you're carrying that 2-person lift item, rotate to your left, my right, etc. Going up, going down. And make sure you're just over communicating while lifting things, especially pianos, heavy pieces, such like that. Communication, compromise items. Let your partner know if special care is required for that item before lifting. All right, liftgate use. This one is going to be a very important one as well. When operating a liftgate, you must communicate any movement before lowering or raising the machinery with everyone. Everyone clear. Make sure everyone visually, everything is clear of that path of the liftgate. 2, going up, going down. There needs to be communication whenever that liftgate is moving to ensure safety for the whole crew during the job. Between both the person on the liftgate and the person operating the liftgate. When liftgate is not in use, the liftgate must be raised to capacity, meaning all the way up, or lowered as much as possible all the way down. A blanket or cardboard must be placed under the ramp/liftgate area to avoid damages to the ground, specifically to driveways.
Just a little.
What forms we'll be using/not using day to day? Using foreman guide. If you are missing steps, we will require it to be filled out daily. Joe touched on this. We have really cut down the foreman guide as to 1 page, 1 to 2 pages, and we're expecting you guys to be able to do that at the highest level. Clock log tracker will also still be implemented. We are going to make some adjustments to those as well. Material trackers to be updated as well. And this is really going to be to ensure that that truck is ready to go for the next day for any jobs that may be the next day. Additional earnings and reimbursement forms, updated version. That is going to be a link for you guys to make sure you guys fill out. And then we're getting rid of the RBR tracker, tool checkout, checklist tracker on the job, and then expense tracker.
Just to touch on what Joseph said, specifically the additional earnings reimbursement form, it will be up to you guys to fill that out. Unfortunately, if you do not fill it out, you will not see it on your paycheck. We cannot be hunting you guys down when we have 10 employees working jobs. We can't be hunting people down to find out what their additional earnings or their reimbursements were. It is your responsibility, if you'd like to get paid for the additional earnings or reimbursements, to submit the Google form. It takes anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes to fill that out, if not quicker, once you've done it a couple times. And on the back end, we will be responsible for taking that information and putting it into your paycheck. And that's where we won't miss as a staff. Between us three, we're not going to miss that as long as you submit it. We'll touch on it later, but it must be submitted. If you have a pay period Monday through Sunday, it needs to be completed by that following Monday at 9 a.m. So we're ready to send out payroll and get you guys paid. So it must be done after the job.
Beautiful. All right, guys, going over some of the foreman phase guide and the responsibilities. We slimmed this down quite a bit. You'll see it's really down to about 1.25 pages. Going over the pre-project phase and foreman, this is where you guys need to lock in. And those aspiring to be foreman, our top position, our highest paid position, I recommend that you guys lock in on this, start getting a general understanding. Okay, pre-project, this is before the move, maybe the day before, a couple days before. You guys, as a foreman, you want to review the project, know what's going on. You want to confirm the project and confirm your availability in the Smart Moving Crew app. There's a way to do that. If you open up your Crew app, you'll see there's a place to confirm that job. Go ahead and do that. That tells us you've seen it, you reviewed it, and we don't have to bug you after that. Okay, address any questions or concerns that come to mind. If you guys are reviewing that, you guys see maybe a scheduling issue, you guys see maybe a truck's, a truck's not available, anything like that, any red flags that you guys see, please address that with us. before the project. On the day of the project, it'll be too late. Okay, prepare your uniform and tool bag before the job. Charge your tools, friendly reminder. Okay, going into start of day. Continue as usual, guys. What we've usually been doing is clock into home base and motive. Go on duty. Start your clock log trackers. Complete pre-trip inspection in your motive app. Prep and account for materials and equipment. So we want to make sure as we're prepping for our truck that we have everything that we need for the job, whether that be heavy man straps, mattress bags, trash bags, you name it. And we'll have a nice tracker for you guys to reference when you're prepping your truck. Make sure you have everything. That's one of your responsibilities. Okay, intro call with the client. This is where we're asking, hey, do you need any boxes? And giving them a rough ETA, letting them know we're heading out soon. Okay, we want to address any concerns that come to mind. Okay, and in this phase as well. And this is specifically with the office. Maybe we're out of mattress bags, maybe XYZ, you name it. We'll want to make sure you address that with the upper management. Okay, and then send ETA with the crew app en route. Okay, going into transit steps, and these are going to be anytime you could have multiple transit steps in a day. You guys know this, so just update your motive driver logs to driving as soon as you go into driving. Go ahead and drive safe. Please no texting. Keep that distance, 2 truck space before stopping and braking, and no speeding. Even if the speed limit is 65, does not mean you guys are green lighted by us to go 66. 65 is the speed limit. Report stops on motive. If you guys stop for gas, go ahead and go on duty. If you guys are taking a break, go off duty. Just so you guys are leaving a paper trail in your guys' logs on your day. And you guys can update that throughout the day. If you guys forget to report a stop, make sure you go back, update that stop on motive. It's something that we'll be looking for on your guys' end. Park with mandatory spotter. This is where the crew is now involved. Anytime you guys are parking into a driveway of any kind, wait for your crew to get there. And crew, you guys should be hopping out right away. Second nature, spotting this truck. If you guys don't know how to spot, you guys should be meeting with your foreman, your lead captain after the job, and he should be teaching you guys how to spot. After that could be after the job. Okay, update your duty status. Okay, leading on to the next one. Is your arrival at the origin, so arrival at the load site, and this could also be the start of the job for some crew members. So we're going to update your motor driver logs to on duty. If you are a foreman, you're going to ensure the crew has signed in on the clock log and also that they're clocked in on home base, making sure we don't want to miss hours. We want to get everybody paid. Make sure that you're on the home base, and if not, you guys wrote it down in the clock log, God forbid. Send your arrival update in the crew app to it'll say arrived at the bottom, which you guys seen Joe speak about. You'll go ahead and gather your crew for your introductions. You'll debrief the client on what you're doing and what the walkthrough even is, and then you go ahead and begin the walkthrough. Okay, you want to document during this walkthrough. We want to document any items, and not only document, but identify any items needing extra care. That need disassembly, that are items that are pre-damaged, and identifying potential hazards on the job site. So, foreman's job and also a crew's job right here in this phase. You guys are not foreman, you're not alone. Your crew should be able to, hey, there's a damage right there, and be able to track stuff like that. Okay, gather crew for a stretch. For your stretch, we want to stretch for about, was it 10 minutes?
3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, 3 to 5 minutes. This is also the appropriate time to game plan. As you're stretching, you guys can be talking, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what you're going to do. Take advantage of that 3 to 5 minutes and make sure we're ready to go. Because one thing I'll say, collectively, we got to really start fast. There's no waiting around. That's our first impression is, oh my gosh, these guys are moving fast and they're breathing hard. They're getting a sweat going within the first 30 minutes. Okay. And if you guys aren't doing that, you're not reaching our expectation. And we're going to be locked in on that, making sure that's who we are. Okay. Start job in Smart Moving Crew app and dispatch crew to prep the job site. It's the first thing we do is lay down that floor protection, show them we're there to protect their items and also their property. Okay, it's going to get a little faster here. So with loading, take pictures of the job site setup. At least one picture, guys. I want to see that floor protection down. and update that into your smart moving app for that job. During the job, you guys should be tracking your tools. We don't want to leave any tools behind. We don't want to that tool we need to set something up at the unload. We can't lose that or forget about it. Okay. Track sellable materials. If they're purchasing them or renting them, just so we know how to appropriately charge them at the end of service. Okay, guys, this is a general one, but also something we're looking for is upload progress photos at the load. Just 25% of the load, you want to take a picture, 50%, 75%, all the way down to 100%. So that way we see at least 4 layers of that truck. And we can also be able to coach you guys up on ways you guys can improve. This is going to be a good training method. God forbid you guys forget the first 3 photos. By the time you leave this load, we need a picture of the final outcome and final loading photo, so 100%. And you guys shouldn't ever leave this job site, or better yet, the loading phase, without getting this final photo at the very least. Complete any special reports necessary if the situation calls for it. And that's an injury report, maybe a release liability, kind of this next kind of onto this next topic. Are there any items at risk of being damaged if we move them? It also goes for the property. Can the property get damaged if we move this item? And notify the client we will need a release liability of that item before moving it. Once you guys do get that release liability, go to upload a picture of that form, something that should be in your binder, saying that you got that release. So we have a copy of it, and the office is going to be aware and be able to reference that. Okay, finish loading and leaving origin. So you will want to do your final walkthrough and trash pickup. Crew, this is where you guys need to lock in. And honestly, the foreman shouldn't even have to be asking you guys. You guys should be asking them. Should I start the final walkthrough? You know, you guys are getting your trash bag, going and doing that trash pickup. Then you're also getting our materials in that final walkthrough. We don't want to leave rolls of stretch wrap behind or any mess at that. Okay, notate anyone clocking out and leaving the job site. So if somebody were to go to another job of any kind, you'll want them to write that on your clock log. Some cases they'll need to clock out of home base. Some cases they'll go to another job site and stay on the clock. But if you're exiting, you'll want to make sure that that's on his paper log so we can reference that. Lunch plans. Okay, remind client we will stop charges during lunch and that they're not going to get charged for that. That's also while they're at their house, you're at their house and they bought you lunch. You guys do the right thing. Let's go ahead and take a lunch and be off the clock for that time. Okay. Clock your breaks on home base and the clock log. Ask a client the critical question. This is a mandatory requirement right here, is that we're asking them at the end of the load, is there anything up until this point that we could have done better? Okay. And then the last one that you guys aren't seeing should be, let's see.
We finished loading. I'll skip to the next one, but we're at click finish loading, and then I'll click. It's on the second.
So it's gonna click finish loading tab in smart moving, and then the last but not least is if you're going into transit, go into transit and follow those transit steps that are listed on your transit steps above. Okay. All right, guys, almost done. Arrival unloading. Update motive driver logs to on duty as you arrive. Start unloading in your crew app. Do your walkthrough, see where items, this is where you guys are game planning and seeing where items are going, where their bed's set up. You name it, that client is with us on this walkthrough. The entire crew needs to be present. And this is one of those things, you guys, it's all about keeping your foot on the gas. So as a crew, when it's arrival phase, I mean, I shouldn't be parking, the truck shouldn't be parked, you guys are walking over. I mean, you guys are eager to get into this walkthrough and get this show on the road. Okay. Efficient game plan is assign task, prep house, and put the aces in their places. Your job as a foreman is to really direct the move and to tell people, hey, this is what you're doing. Okay. So that's where, again, you guys are checking this off, making sure you guys aren't going in without a plan. So make sure you're checking that off. Track all damages if applicable in the Smart Moving Crew app. Okay. And also, guys, check for property damage before starting the unload. And make sure you guys are getting pictures of that, bringing it to the client's attention. Because if they see a scratch on the floor, they're going to go, that was you guys. No. Before we even moved anything in there, we already looked for that kind of stuff. Okay, track all damages in Smart Moving Crew app. Okay, then we go to finish unloading and leaving the destination. All right, so we want to make sure that we check the truck for any hidden item. This could be under a moving blanket, in the cab of the truck, wherever you guys put stuff at the beginning of the day. Maybe it's bolts, screws. You guys go ahead and make sure the truck is absolutely completely empty. Do not guess. We've had guys guess, and then now we're sitting here with the client stuff and don't know how to get it back to them. Okay, final walkthrough and final staging. This is that very next step, and trash pickup. Go ahead and click finish unloading as a foreman once everything's off that truck. Okay, and you're going to ask the client the critical question once again: what could we do better up until this point? All right, and our goal as a foreman, and honestly as an entire team and staff, and why we even do this, if you look at our mission statement, we want to leave the client satisfied and in awe of what we just did. And if we didn't, that's where foreman, you guys need to take the initiative. And if that client doesn't seem in awe, you need to let us know, and we want to give them a call and try to fix that right away and make sure we leave there in good graces. Okay, and if you guys are working hard, we're gonna do that. All right, complete job, close out in Smart Moving. Okay, it's gonna guide you guys while you're closing out to leave a tip. Make sure you guys are kindly requesting that. We're not demanding it. It's up to them if they want a tip or not, and we know we'll live with the results. And then verify payment is successful. Make sure that on that crew app, or if you're calling the office, that there's a $0 balance before you guys leave, specifically to the foreman. Keep in mind, crew, as you guys are doing this, you guys should already be dialing up the truck as that foreman is closing out. But this, you're going to see this as a foreman's responsibility that truck is dialed, because really after we stop charges, you guys have about a 5 to 10 minute window max of getting that job, that truck dialed and getting on the road. All right. So then the next one, check in with the office to see if there are any additional tasks. You guys don't just assume that the job is over. We may have to send you guys to another project that is running behind, or a job that came in that day. If you do go to another job, don't be surprised. You guys should communicate honestly that morning or even the day before if you guys have other obligations. So we're leaving that on you guys to communicate that. The office, we're constantly looking to build your guys' day and to help each other out, the crews that we have going. So that's our mindset. Okay. Notate anyone clocking out and leaving the job site. Okay, home base or the clock log, and make sure that you guys are tracking your IRS and travel compensation as well. Okay, and then you're gonna go into your transit steps if you guys are driving back to the office, right? You go back on duty, etc. You can always refer up above to what your transit steps are and the requirements that we're requesting. Okay, going on to our last but not least, our end of day and how we close out. Okay, after each project, unless management tells you otherwise, is you got to fuel the truck, and you got to make sure that truck is clean, and you got to remove the trash bags that you guys should be collecting, and making sure here at the Ventura location that all trash is consolidated into black trash bags. We don't have a junk removal system right now, so it's got to be consolidated and just thrown in a trash bag. Okay, we want to update our materials tracker, and what that is we want to know what's left on the truck, because that's going to help the next guy when he's there the next morning. He's going to already know there's 48 blankets, there's 2 dollies, there's 3 stretch wraps, 6 tapes. You guys do your final inventory at the end and leave that in the truck, which you guys should be used to. And you'll go ahead and complete your post-trip inspection on Motive. Do not forget to clean up your guys' logs if there were any mistakes. And then lastly, we'll go ahead and return your clock logs, submit any crew write-ups. If there's anybody late, if there were any on-job issues, go ahead and submit those write-ups. And then last but not least, you guys got to go on Motive, go off duty, and then clock out on home base. And that's what we narrowed down this step list for you guys. So not too much, super efficient. And if you guys are in one of these phases, you guys should constantly be looking, am I doing this stuff? When we're talking about performance and job issues, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be because you didn't do one of these steps. So this is how you guys get this 5-star review right here on these step lists.
Yeah, if I could add to Tevin, what he just said, for the jobs I'm gonna be doing, I am gonna be taking this checklist with me. So is Joseph, so is Tevin. We're gonna be actively grading ourselves based off this checklist to hold the same standard. And just so you guys know what direction this can head, I highly recommend filling this out completely, even showing it to management. Hey, look, I did my whole checklist. That should be a 5-star review. If you're following every step on this checklist, which should become habit at some point, we'd like to be able to trust our foreman. But here's the thing, if we do have issues, if we have customer complaints, if we're missing clock-ins, if their logs are messed up, well, shoot, we're gonna have to now require you guys to fill this out every single day and check every single check mark. That's not the direction we want to head. But frankly, if things are not getting done at a high level, then we do have to head in that direction. So from management, from ownership, we're going to be taking these on our jobs as well. And we're going to be making sure we can hit every single check mark and tell ourselves, yes, we hit every mark that we're supposed to hit in our guide, which frankly, through a day, these are just the daily tasks that need to be done as a foreman. That's why you get paid more. That's why you get bigger incentives, is because you have more responsibility. And that's how this thing's going to work from moving on, is it's either going to become more stringent to do your checklist, or you're doing it naturally and that'll show in your performance. So there's a couple ways this can go, and I highly recommend day one tomorrow, get your checklist and start making sure you're hitting every single task, because when something goes wrong, we're going to go to the checklist. We're going to bring you to the checklist and say, well, look, this went wrong. Well, look, it looks like you didn't even ask them a critical question. It sounds like we asked the client, hey, client, did Joseph right here, did Joseph ask you, what could we have done better before we closed out the bill? Well, no, Joseph didn't ask that at all, actually. Well, look, we're gonna have to take steps backward then. We only want to take steps forward, and I think we're all in agreement here.
100%.
We're taking steps forward by using this, and we're trying to make your lives easier. As you guys saw, we got rid of some of the additional trackers, expense trackers. We're gonna take that on as management. But when it comes to doing your job, this is how you do your job correctly. All right, so if you can't do your job, we're gonna have issues moving forward. If you guys do your job correctly, man, you're gonna get praised for it. You're gonna end up getting raises. So, any last? Did we miss anything? Oh, sorry guys. Last thing I want to touch on, which you guys are probably gonna have to ask questions on this moving forward, is if the job is under 20 miles from the office, you must clock in and clock out when you are departing from the office in the box truck. If the job is over 20 miles from the office and you are riding in the box truck, you must submit a request for travel compensation at 33 cents a mile. There will be a link sent out to everybody when this is via email. If you check the email thread that this is sent out on, we will have that link. Pass it around to the guys. It will be accessible. Put it in your notes. That's how you're going to go ahead and request that. Lastly, if you are driving your own vehicle to a job under 20 miles away, that is a reasonable commute. If it is more than that, then we will be paying a reimbursement for your mileage for your vehicle use. So anything over 20 miles. And then as mentioned, that is due by 9 a.m. Monday before the next pay period begins. So we got to make sure we're putting this form in, and that'll also include indirect tips, as well as miscellaneous reimbursements. If you got to get fuel and you didn't have your credit card on you, you need to submit a receipt for a reimbursement so we can get that to you on your check. If it's not submitted, we are unable to pay that out. So make sure we're submitting that on time. That covers everything today. I apologize on my end if things were a little bit choppy. We wanted to get you guys this information as quick as possible, hit the ground running. But you guys have anything else you want to touch on?
I just want to say, man, hey, thank you to you guys, Max Protection Moving, just being willing to work with, the merge of Mom Boy Movers. I think realistically, guys, like together we are way better. Better together is kind of the approach and mindset that I have going into this thing. As long as you guys are positive, working hard, and following your base checklist, this thing's gonna work out like a dream. We always have the mindset of everybody can grow and get better. And so right now I see even up into our top guys, there's incentives and ways where you guys can get even more out of this. So I'm excited for that once you guys are fully bought in. Again, I know we're all open. If you guys ever have any questions, concerns, and or want more training on any topics at all, I know we'll sit with you guys and make sure that you're comfortable. If it is using the Smart Moving Crew app and so on, or using Homebase, let's get a meeting. Let's just figure all this stuff out and make sure you guys understand what's required of you guys. And that's all I have. I'm very excited to work with you guys and everybody in this company that's here right now. We're just full of potential, and it's going to be a great summer.
Yeah, I think Tevin covered most of it. We're excited on the culture and the company that we're building right now. And I really want to touch on just positivity and attitude. You know, those are the two things that you can control, you know, day to day. If you bring a good, positive attitude, I think everything else will kind of fall into place. And also, we're here for any personal, any operational things, business, personal related. You have all of our phone numbers, so just reach out with anything, boys.
Thank you guys. You fellas take care.